critical ratio? And I'll give you this question in the exam. You need to know what is critical ratio in the context of project control. Critical ratio, as well as project control cycle. How a project manager will control the healthiness and the proper execution of a project. So project manager can utilize critical ratio and go through project control cycle. So that's what basically it is. So we're transitioning from planning and scheduling into project control. Any question? So this is a milestone. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying no questions.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we are in a milestone right now that we have developed our Gantt chart, and we're going to be very busy in implementing and executing our project. So we need to integrate a control process into our activity, or that's a concern of any project manager. So there are some techniques, some type of control. Most importantly, what is called go, no-go control. So you're testing at every milestone during your execution of your project to see if everyone is committed, everyone is doing the work, and you're working in accordance with your project network. So we have three different methods that we're going to discuss. One is called go, no-go control. One is called post control. And one is called cybernetic control. So these are three different techniques that you're going to learn and you can apply to your project execution cycle. And eventually, we're going to learn about critical ratio. We're going to review the critical ratio formula, and that's how you can manage and basically keep track of healthiness of your project. Any question before we get started? So let me share my screen. Do you see my screen, PowerPoint?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, I was looking at your minutes, and I'm happy that I see that you're very connected and done submitted nice minutes. And again, today's topic is going to be very fundamental, and you learn fundamental how you can manage and control your project to make sure that at the end you're meeting the project goal and finishing your project on time. That's an issue. So what is project control cycle? The control cycle is a continuous process of monitoring project progress, comparing it to your plan, and taking corrective actions as needed to keep the project on track. So you continuously look at your project network, you continuously look at your project objectives, what should be your deliverable, and then you check the expectation if you're in the right track. So the purpose is to ensure that the project meets its objectives within the defined scope, time, and budget. We have not talked about budget. I briefly discuss fundamental of budget next week. But basically, these are the three elements that if you do not manage and control, that could result negatively affect your project. So you continuously need to know the scope of your project objectives, and the critical path from project network, time, making sure every task is going to be completed on time, and obviously budget. Budget, you don't want to overspend or underspend. and making sure that everything is being spent accordingly. So that is basically what we're going to discuss today. Any questions? All right. Then why is it important? It helps identify deviations from the plan early. The earlier you find the issues in your project, the easier that you can solve your issue. If you added problems over problems, then it's going to be very difficult to manage and come up with a good solution. So early in the stage of issues, you can detect it and correct it. So this allows for corrective actions to be taken promptly. It ensures resource utilization aligns with project goals and improve the likelihood of project success. So that is what project manager will do throughout execution to make sure that project is going in accordance with expectations. So there are four basic steps that you need to follow for that. Somebody just walked in. Yeah, there are four steps. The first step is monitoring and measurements. So you need project manager, every milestone need to do some measurement to see the project healthiness. Tracking progress, collect data on project performance. Example, task completion, budget you already spent up to this moment. Use tools like Gantt chart, project network, tracking software, and anything that you have to control your project. The key performance indicator that you want to pay attention, it's a time-related key performance indicator, cost-related key performance indicator, and quality-related key performance indicator. So that's the first thing that you need to monitor, measurement and monitor. Second step, it's evaluation and comparison. Means you're going to compare performance against the plan. So again, you have your project network, you have all the tasks, WBS, you have a number of different resources that you can utilize in the project control cycle. So assess how the project current status aligns with the baseline plan. Baseline plan, basically, it is your WBS. So you can use WBS. Baseline is more in detailed than WBS, or you can use project network. Use metrics and techniques to compare the plan versus actual progress. So you can talk to individual team member, team groups, and check their progress against what is you expecting them to finish on a given time. Then analyzing variances. This could affect the outcome of your project. Schedule variances, difference between planned progress and actual progress. Like you estimated a task going to take 15 days and you realize that now it's 20 days is passed and it's not been completed. Cost variance, you budgeted something for $50 and you see that your teammate spent $200, then it's an issue. What happened that you overspent from 50 to 200, or the other way around if it's under spending? So this is something that you could analyze. This is called evaluation and comparison. Next one is taking corrective actions. Adjusting the plan. Reallocate resources to critical tasks. So that's what you've come across issue. You need to come up with a solution. You need to reschedule activities or extend deadlines. Or sometimes you have to revise the project scope if necessary. if you come up to this situation, what is your managing risk? Implement risk mitigation strategies, address issue as they arise to avoid escalation. You want to avoid issues and problems. And the last step, it is a big responsibility that you need to report and communicate with your upper administration if you face some unusual situation. So regular status updates, hold weekly or bi-weekly meeting to review progress. Share a status report with stakeholders, team management, client, and anyone that have interest on the project. Use visual tools. Continuously check your Gantt chart, progress report to visually communicate project status. Highlight key achievements, risks, and upcoming milestones. Any question on this? So this is basically what I give you as an overview, but now I would like to go through my own note and kind of give you similar concept in a more detail and understanding what is project control. Any questions? So this is what your assignment going to be for this coming week. You're going to meet and discuss project control, and I already submitted an agenda for you if you want to follow that agenda in order to manage control aspect of your project. Any questions, any comments?
So for the project control, are we gonna basically be analyzing tasks that are set specifically to each person?
No, no. I mean, we're not going to go much in detail. Basically, all you have to do, tell yourself that in this class, I'm going to learn some fundamentals. I'm going to go overviewing some process to understand what is happening in real world. So when I go tomorrow to work, I'm familiar with this concept. So right now you have developed your Gantt chart, you have your WBS, you're done with it. Now you're going to experience, okay, now that you're executing your project, what happened? Let's say your team is not 4 people, about 50 people. What happened if a couple of people, they are not doing their work? What happened if few people are spending so much money but they don't deliver their work? But what happened to the money? The work is not done, the money is spent. So these are the stuff that you need to concern as a project manager. And there are some tools and techniques that we're going to learn today, and we're going to use these tools and techniques to check the healthiness of the project, making sure everyone is in the right track and doing their work. Did I help you? Does it make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
All you have to do is sit down with your friend and review the lecture and use your ability, common sense to basically complete the agenda. There is nothing that you be worried about it or big issue. All you have to do, listen to the lecture. If you have question, ask me today. Otherwise, go through the lecture and spend half an hour, 45 minutes to complete your assignment for next week. So the assumption is that at this moment, we have good idea about our project scope. We know what is our project name, objectives. We develop WBS with assumption that, yeah, each one of us going to go this work and so forth. Now, okay, how the project manager can assure that everything is going to be implemented, executed accordingly, so you can meet that critical path or the ending date for your project. Because in a real world, if you don't meet the delivery date, then your competition going to finish similar project, similar product, and going to be ahead of you. So everything is about time. So here, control is the last element in implementing cycle of planning and monitoring and controlling. Information is collected about system performance compared with desired or planned level, and action will be taken. So that's why you want to check if you check your teammate, see what they're supposed to do, what is their progress, and does it in alignment with what they're supposed to do? Are they in the right track? So basically, these are the three main issues: performance, scope, cost, and time. If you miscalculated any of these and fail to meet any of these, you're going to face an issue. So the project manager concern continuously, it is monitoring the performance, checking the cost, and making sure that everything accordingly is been implementing it and executing it. So these are the key three elements: performance, cost, and time. The scope, you have your project statement that we discussed at the beginning of the semester, or maybe a client giving you some description, technical difficulties you may come across, quality problems, client wants to change some description, some objectives, interfunctional complications, maybe some issues, maybe something technological breakthroughs, something happened, new technology, uh, or anything could be happening. Environmental effect, these are something that you could check and it can affect your project performance. Time, difficulties took longer than planned to solve a task, so you need to be aware of it. Initial estimation were too optimistic. The PERT formula that we use for time estimation, maybe somehow we didn't do a good job. Sequencing that you did in developing your project network and WBS maybe was not properly designed, or unavailable resources. So these are some of the concerns that you can take this basically lecture and review it and discuss it in your meeting. Then it is cost. You did some estimation for expenses. Difficulties may need more resources. You may have to hire additional programmers, may to add or buy additional tools, computers, because the scope of your progress has been increased. And initial bids that you did maybe was too low. You thought something is going to cost less, but you have to spend more money on it and things like that. So these are some examples that you can think about cost. So these are three main elements. Any questions? So at every milestone, every week or so forth, you can look at all this to make sure your project it is healthy. So there are some tools at your hand that you can use them. And these are additional things that you can check. In addition to those three that I mentioned, these are some additional things that a project manager can check. One is called physical asset control, correct? You're controlling over your physical assets and take preventive and corrective maintenance. Human resource control. The stewardship of human resource requires controlling and maintaining the growth and development of people, helping and leading your teammate to achieve their objectives. Continuously be a point of encouragement and helping your teammate. So these are financial resource control, current asset control, project budget. These are the document information that you need to have at your disposal to continuously looking at them and assessing your healthiness of your project. So to do all this, there are three types of control processes. You must make a decision concerning at what stage, at what point in the project will control be exerted or applied. what is to be controlled, how it will be assessed or measured, how much deviation will be tolerated. For example, if your friend spent $20 over what he's supposed to spend, that is bearable. But if you realize that they're spending a few $100 over the budget, then that's an issue. You need to pay attention. That's a red flag that you need to immediately pay attention. How to spot and correct potential deviation before they occur. So these are three different methods that you can do. At every milestone, you can do your assessment, your evaluation with your upper team administration, yourself, team player, and have a go, no go control, post control, and cybernetic control. So these are three different techniques. The first one is the most probable that everyone is using, especially like a project like ours. It is simple, not as advanced, so we can go with the process or procedure go, no go control. So what is go, no go control? Testing to see if some present condition has been met. How can you check this? How can you check to see if some present condition has been met? What tools do you have in hand?
Use the activity on art diagram.
Yeah, you see the project network is one example, or you can use your project baseline or project WBS. So that is something that you can use. So most of project manager, they use go, no go controls. That's easy way to manage and track the progress. So usually to do them at some milestone, and some will take place when work and package are completed. These are example of when you can do this go, no go control. The project proposals, plans, specifications, WBS, schedules, budget contain all information needed to apply go, no go control. So you have all these resources that you can manage and control your project. So probably this is what you're going to do in your project, go, no go control. The other method, post control, it is done basically after the fact. The purpose is to mainly improve the performance on future projects. So maybe some project related that you continuously keep doing, then at the end of every project, you sit down, assess, evaluate the lesson learned, and this is called post control. Oftentimes, a final report is prepared comparing the plan with reality based on the report and the results. Sometimes it is called lessons learned, or a formal document that contains 4 distinct sections: the project objectives, milestones, checkpoints, budgets, final report, and then you do recommendation for future performance, recommendation for performance and process improvement for next project. So this is called post control. There are some more advanced method. It is computer based. It's called cybernetic control. It is based basically on this architecture. So you basically continuously monitoring the healthiness of your project based on some computer, based on some system. So this is done continuously. And as you see, here you have your inputs, and you have your effector and decision making also as an input coming to this computer system. This process K, you do some processing. This is your output And then at the same time, you have some sensors that this shows if you have any deviation, any comparison is done through this feedback, through this comparison module. There is an intelligent module in here that it can detect all the deviation based on these sensors and provide additional input. And you keep going into this loop to fix the issues. And obviously, you have to do everything in accordance with some standards. So if you're developing, designing some component, it means that you need to follow some standards to make sure your design it is in according with the standards and do all this comparison through this feedback. Anyone know what a standard means? Yes, no?
Would it be like the standards that we have to follow, like when doing projects, like an example, IEEE standards?
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Yeah. Like IEEE standard. You can, like, when you go to your ECE 85 event, you want to build up a circuit, you need to follow a standard and specific gates. If you want to build up a house, what do? There are some coding standard for building. So this is everything that this system, you want to make sure that in your design, everything it is followed and applied, so this is not through this cybernetic network. This is the system. This is more advanced, and it is used in a bigger corporation. So let me. Someone just came in. Okay. So any question about these three different methods? As we mentioned, these are go no go control, post control, and cybernetic control. So this is something again that you need to just learn the concept as you go tomorrow to your work, you'll be aware of it. So now that we know how you go about controlling and managing your project, there is another technique that is called critical ratio control chart. This is something that I will expect that you practice in your meeting, and this should be reflected into your project report. And I will ask you this in the question as well, because that is something that you can use this methodology, this scientific method to go through this project control. This methodology called critical ratio. So learn the way CR, critical ratio control, is made up of two parts: ratio of actual progress to a scheduled progress. What does it mean? Means that you and your friend thought you're going to finish a work in 15 days, but actually it took you to finish it in 25 days. Or you planned to finish it in 15 days, but your friends, your teammate came up and told you, no, I finished that work in 2 days. Then you're going to kind of be doubt. How come we estimated for 15 days? Now you're telling me that you finished it in 2 days? Not that it cannot be true, but this is something that it raises a flag that you need to check. That is really the truth. Could he finish the work that we assume going to be finished in 15 days, in 2 days, or 4 days? So these are what is called critical ratio. It made up of two parts: ratio of a budgeted cost to actual cost. So you're taking time versus money. Ratio of actual progress to scheduled progress with the ratio of budgeted cost to actual cost. So this is called critical ratio. Critical ratio, and you compute it using this formula. Okay? This expression says critical ratio, it is equal to actual progress divided by scheduled progress multiplied by budgeted cost divided by actual cost. So you already have all this information from your project network that this activity take 5 days, and it's gonna basically you have to spend $50. And that's what you need to learn about critical ratio. So next week, I'm going to talk about budget. So you can go back to your project network. In every arc, you have the duration. You can also put the budgeted amount for that specific activity. So you know that activity take 15 days and $1,000. So that's how you have all this information. Any question on critical ratio? All right. Now look at this is an example. Okay. This is an example that you need to do some calculation, some computation. You say, I have task number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We decided that this task is going to take 2 days. I mean, you finish it in 2 days, but you schedule it to completion for 3 days. Task number 2, your teammate finished it in 2 days, where you schedule that to be completed in 3 days. Task number 3, you did the right job. You said it's going to take 3 days, and you finished it in 3 days. Task number 4, you said 3 days, but you planned it to schedule it to be 2 days. So you see some discrepancies. Similarly, for the budget, you say it's going to take $3,000, budgeted you already, but the actual cost was $2,000. So what does it mean? You spend $1,000 extra. Here, $6,000. Here, the actual cost was $6,000, but how come you were so intelligent, clever? You save some money and you spend only $4,000. So here, project manager should raise a flag to see if what you're telling him is true. You could save $2,000 because you did some correct estimation when you did your budgeting. Now, these are big discrepancies, 4,000 to 6,000. So you use this formula, critical ratio, actual progress over schedule progress times budgeted cost over actual cost. And then you do this computation, and then you come with your critical ratio in this column. This is 1, 0.67, 0.67, 1.5, 1.5. So if you come around 1, it means that there is no issue, no concern. You should be very happy that people are doing their work. If it goes below, then you should raise a flag. It means that there is a deviation somewhere that you need to pay attention. How comes that it is below 1? The more it's below 1, then you should be more concerned. If it's close to 1, there is not much of concern. The far away from 1 or go above 1, you should raise a flag. If it's like 1.5, 1.7, 1.8, you should be very, very worried and do an investigation and inform the upper administration about the deviation that are taking place. Sometimes you may budget at $10,000, but you have not even progressed anything to your project. So it means that someone is doing something wrong. It's spending the money elsewhere, but not toward the project. Any question about critical ratio?
No.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yes.
Well, this is the chart. See, you look at this chart. This is your critical ratio. As long as you're nearby this line, you're okay. You don't want to bother. You want to ignore it as long as you're nearby 1. But if you go way above 1 or way below 1, that needs attention. That need to be investigated. And if it's go beyond 0.5 or beyond 1.5, then you need to immediately inform your company's management and see someone spent $10,000, but not progress is not done, or what's happening. We thought something's going to be finished in 5 days. 1 month is gone and nothing has been happening. So this is called critical ratio. So as you see, This week assignment is not difficult. It is just for you to gather and spend some time, some quality time, enjoy some conversation, and at the same time, come up with some random numbers and estimation of your budget and days that's supposed to finish this. If about the budget, you can do some estimation. Next week, I'll talk about the budget, but you can estimate some. Maybe this activity going to take $500, $200. So that's how you can come up with some estimation for right now. So that was the lecture for today and your assignment for next week. If you look on Canvas, there is a deadline that you need to submit your intention, your desire about certificate of training. So you need to get an approval, and immediately and right after that, you need to go through training and submit your certificate of training to get 15% of the grade. So that 15% is guaranteed if your certificate it is above 20 hours. If it's less than 20 hours, you're not going to get 15%, or you may not even get approval. It depends what it is.
So for the approval, do you just want us to email you the exact thing that we're doing? The certification?
I'm going to put a link on the Canvas that you can submit a link or description. So I would go to the website and see that it is something in alignment with your discipline and it is more than 20 hours. So what I would do, for example, if you like to go work for PG&E, you may want to search some certificate that it helps you to get a job. Maybe you get some additional training in power, in control. My suggestion, if you don't know programming, take Python. But based on your interests and where you're going to work in the future, you can come up with some certificate in alignment with your interests. So when you put in your resume, that shows that you're going to be specialized in one specific domain. Correct? Because remember, when you apply for a job, if your resume is so generic, no one's going to pay attention to you. So right after graduation, everyone come across your resume, say, oh, Johnny is the control engineer. Johnny is the network engineer, the power engineer. Cyrus is the embedded system engineer. So how are you going to develop that? You need to take those elective courses that you're going to take in your discipline. Those elective courses are going to determine the area of your concentration. So that's why you need to be very smart. Don't listen to anyone. You need to know what is your eventual goal, where you want to work. You want to work for Apple. You want to work for what industry? For PG&E. Based on that, you need to design your portfolio, your area of specialization. So that is very crucial. That is your own responsibility. So if anyone needs help, you can come to my office. I'll be happy to help you. So when you're selecting your elective courses, be very careful. And now you're selecting this certificate for training, be very careful as well. Just say, okay, because I'm going to work as a network engineer, I'm going to get a certificate in a network domain. So that way I'm going to enhance and advance my portfolio. So when I apply for a job, people, they understand that Cyrus is a network engineer. So the moment I look at your resume, I need to discover what is this individual professional character. It is control engineer, network engineer, embedded system engineer, VLSI design engineer. So this should be coming easily out of your resume. So be very careful on how you're going to select your certificate. Any questions?
No. No questions.
So So you submitted, and it should be 20 hours or more. And my goal is that you get some additional training by repeating that certificate, whatever it is. Don't just complete it. Go back and keep repeating it until you become a specialized, for example, in control, in Python, because this is at your own leisure and your own time. You can continually do that exercise, that training, to become good at it. I'm done for today. I hope you have enjoyed the course, the lecture so far, and experience project manager. We're going to try to complete this project management aspect of our course, hopefully by next week. Free to go. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week.